Chapel Bill. It's still bizarre to me. We're talking about Bill Belichick and college football in the same sentence, but there's some buzz in the recruiting trail right now. What's the latest out of this past weekend?
Well, reaction's still coming in from Chapel Bill. I like that. From North Carolina. What an epic recruiting weekend on campus. College Game Day was out there for the North Carolina Duke basketball game. You don't get many atmospheres like that in college sports. And you see Bill Belichick, he's a legend. And then you see Lawrence Taylor and Julius Peppers out there just to feel. I don't think the kids know that those guys are two of the best to ever play. Lawrence Taylor is a top 5 football player of all time. I don't know if kids realize how good those guys truly were, but they know they were special. That adds to the moment. When they get announced inside the Dean Dome, the place goes nuts. The recruits are feeling that. They can feel how special this program is, how it's on the uptick. I talked to Luke Waffle. He's the number 1 prospect in New Jersey. He's the number 5 edge rusher in the country in the latest on 300 rankings. He got to chop it up with LT, he said. He watched film with Coach Belichick. He said he'll never forget that, and he's excited to play under a bunch of professional coaches who knows what it looks like to be great. North Carolina has been rising for Luke Waffle. Aiden Pouncey is one of the most coveted defensive backs out of the Sunshine State. He was another headliner on campus. He said the energy is great. It's a family atmosphere. Everyone talks to everyone, and what excites me is the ability to get the NFL coaching and get prepared to succeed in the NFL. Landon Duckworth was on campus, JD. He is a specimen of a quarterback, the number 6 signal caller in the country. Like Julius Peppers, he's also a basketball standout. He's fresh off winning a state championship on the hardwood. He is one of the top dual threat quarterbacks in the country, completed 68% of his passes for nearly 3,500 yards and 39 touchdowns, had 650 more rushing yards and 12 scores as a junior. Tangibles, intangibles, he's unique. North Carolina would love to add him to this class. I have the Tar Heels on the short list for Duckworth with Florida State, Ole Miss, South Carolina, and Georgia right now. There was plenty of more major reaction coming out of North Carolina. Trayshawn Ruffin's an in-state 4-star defensive line recruit. He's committed to Texas A&M, but the Tar Heels are on him every day. He feels needed by the Tar Heels. He sent pictures of himself with Julius Peppers, with Lawrence Taylor, with Bill Belichick. He was rubbing elbows with all the greats this weekend. He felt the energy. Carter Meadows is a 5-star, number 6 overall player in the new On3 player rankings. He was there with his family. I talked to his dad afterwards, impressed by the NFL experience and creativity in the staff, their approach to building a winning program, what they're going to do with strength and conditioning and diet with this program. Carter Meadows is also a 3.9 GPA, so he's looking for things on and off the field. North Carolina checking those boxes as they battle Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, South Carolina, to name a few. North Carolina, big point of emphasis is the offensive line. In-state guys, JB Shabazz, Akini Ogboko, were both there. JB Shabazz is a top 100 recruit in the recent On3 update. He said the environment was crazy. Got an opportunity to talk to LT himself. Really feels the change coming under Coach Belichick. And Ogboko, he's been talking to Coach Belichick quite a bit since he got on campus. And he talked about how the program's going to be run like an NFL one. So on 300 receiver, Travis Johnson had a great visit. Max Suter, a 4-star tight end that I have Alabama as a crystal ball for. His dad played in the NFL for Belichick. He had a great visit to campus. 4-star running back Damon Ferguson from the DMV is another one that North Carolina is going to have a great shot to land. Edge rusher from in-state Xavier Griffin-Haynes had a fantastic visit. And they're trying to flip LeVar Keys. He's a receiver committed to Penn State. They're trying to flip him. Several in-state targets were on campus. You'll have to get to On3 to read more about the big recruiting weekend at North Carolina, but those were the highlights for the Tar Heels. I'm interested to see who jumps in the boat, but they're on a lot of short lists right now.
It's just impressive to see the activity from North Carolina, to see Bill Belichick in these pictures from the On3 recruits, social media pages popping up, and he's with recruits, he's wearing the cool suit. And Steve, last question for you before you send us out of here. I've been impressed watching Bill Belichick in his DAP game. I don't know if you saw there's him on, I think it's at the basketball game. He's dapping up recruits. Pretty good form, pretty smooth, not the smoothest, but pretty smooth for, coming from the NFL level. How is he connecting with these high school kids coming from the NFL level and, being around grown men for the entirety of his football career for the most part? How is he adapting to what college football is right now on the recruiting trail?
Well, I think if you pay attention to Coach Saban on ESPN College Game Day, and then Bill Belichick this past year on McAfee, and some of the film stuff does with Ryan Clark, he's funny. People like being around him, and so it's not just a situation where he's just running this dictatorship and he's not having meaningful relationships with players and other coaches. And you see Julian Edelman's podcast. They love telling Bill Belichick stories and kind of ripping on just the way that he would coach them in a fun way with the jokes that, he created an atmosphere that was certainly hard and you needed to be accountable, but he's got personality to him. And obviously we see that with some of the off-field things that Coach Bill Belichick's going on right now. But, he was able to come in here and certainly understands that to be the program that he wants to be, you got to have good players, and it's not a draft. So if you're identifying the players that you want to have in your program, you then have to recruit them. If you're pouring into the film study and the traits and saying these are the top guys on the board, but you're not working hard to recruit them, then it doesn't matter if you're good at evaluating the film, if you're going to have to take your fourth and fifth options, So they want to land their top targets. Coach Belichick went into schools and had a fantastic time shaking hands, taking pictures, talking to high school coaches and prospects. Now they're coming to see him in Chapel Hill, and they had some of the best in the country on campus for this Duke game, and the returns are coming in strong.